Hey friends, I want to document this part because I think whew, I think it's unique. Um, I am with a program called USAC, and we are the first set of students to study abroad since all the COVID stuff has happened. I think I mentioned on a previous video that I was accepted into other programs, but I was, what would you call it? They were canceled. They were canceled due to COVID. So this is the first one actually going through since the whole COVID thing. So I wanted to share some of the unique experiences that have to do with that. So I had mentioned in my last video that we have to quarantine. So one of the things that we have to do is when we travel, instead of going directly to the city of Chiang Mai, where we will be studying, one of the things that is required of us is to travel directly to Bangkok and get what is called an ASQ, which is a alternative state quarantine hotel. And there's specific hotels in Thailand that are offering this service. They are just for ASQ, at least at this point. Normally they would be a regular hotel. So what we have to do is fly into Bangkok, be picked up by the hotel people, staff, and they will take us immediately to the hotel, no stops along the way. We will get tested. First, we will get tested before we leave. And we have to have the results before departure. So within 72 hours of departing, which is pretty standard for any traveling in 2020 right now. And so we'll get that negative test result. Then once we get to the hotel, then we have to take another COVID test. And they set us up in our hotel room, and we are quarantined officially for 2 weeks. And what that quarantine sounds like it consists of is, first of all, we did have to pay for it separately. It was a separate cost on top of the program costs. But it also, so we will stay in those rooms. Each of us gets our own room, and we get 3 meals a day as part of the cost. And so they will come to our door, knock on our door, and leave our food outside of the door for us. I believe there is also twice a day temperature checks on us. At the 5th day, I believe, they do another COVID test. And then on the 12th or 13th day, they do another COVID test. And it's actually not a 14-day quarantine, it's 15-day. And then once we have cleared that last COVID test, and stayed for another day or two, then we are free to leave and fly to our actual destination city after that. So it's been a little bit unique, been a little bit different. I know that the entire flight, we will be required to wear masks, practice our social distancing. We had to sign special waivers, basically health waivers, and agreements that we will practice, health safety while abroad. And so it's been a different kind of experience, I think, than anyone else has previously had. Some of these things might stick for the future, I'm not sure, but it's definitely been interesting. It also changed how the process of leaving will go. So one of the things that was asked of us was to practice self-isolation for the 14 days prior to leaving. And it's hard because just before you leave to go somewhere for a period of time, that's when you want to spend time with your family. That 2 weeks or week or whatever before you leave is when you want to spend time with your family. And so it's been a bit of a predicament, and we've kind of had to adjust some things. For example, we had our Christmas with family last weekend, and you know, I gave people their last hugs before I leave. Definitely a tough one, giving my grandma a hug goodbye. I do believe that my family is going to, they're not going to see me off at the airport because right now, because of COVID, they won't allow that. But I believe we're going to meet at like a park or something so that everybody can just see me off and see me one last time before I leave. Likely we will practice social distancing at that farewell, I guess you'd say. So I just wanted to make a little video about how COVID has made this a little different. It also, I guess I should say too, that one of the things that it's made us well aware of is, or at least myself, is to be constantly looking at the news for Thailand and for India, because I will be doing both of those, starting with Thailand. But constantly be watching what their cases are looking like and how they're handling it and when the vaccines will be distributed and so many different things. And so, you know, I know that myself and everybody that's going on this study abroad has worked very, very hard to make it happen. And so we're just taking all the necessary precautions, and so is the country that's welcoming us. And I appreciate that they are even allowing us to go at all. But for all of the people that study abroad in the future, you may have some extra steps that we will have laid the groundwork for. So don't worry. There shouldn't be another group that has to go through what we've gone through. But yeah, it might just add an extra step or two. I don't know. Or maybe none at all. Maybe the vaccine will put a kibosh on that whole thing. That's kind of my hope for the next group that goes to study abroad. So anyway, that's the extras that we have had to do for COVID and the I guess it would be spring 2021 study abroad program.